Hello everybody. I'd like to talk in this video and touch upon the issue and the story of finding Jesus' tomb empty. And I'm going to pose and raise a couple of what I think to be serious questions and serious issues regarding the accounts in the New Testament of the finding of Jesus' tomb empty. Now, I'm going to set aside the problem or the issue of how many people or how many women and who were the women who discovered the tomb or who went to the tomb, etc., etc. This is a totally different topic. What I want to talk to you today about and give you some food for thought is assuming that, because most Christians would claim that even the disciples, friends of Jesus, nobody believed that he had resurrected. And so, assuming that these women or whoever went there with them, which is also, I think, evident from what the Bible tells us, that they didn't believe that he had resurrected. And they were mourning about him. And so my question is, what is the reason that they were going that Sunday morning to the tomb? What is the reason? And the reason is that we find it in Luke 24:1. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took the spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. In another translation, but very early on Sunday morning, the women went to the tomb, taking the spices they had prepared. And another translation, but on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they went to the tomb, taking the spices they had prepared, etc., etc., etc. So it's apparent from these accounts, from that Bible verse, that they were going to the tomb, allegedly, to prepare the body of Jesus, because they did not have the chance to prepare it at the time of his alleged death. And we have here a statement from a Christian website. We left Mary Magdalene at the crucifixion. Jesus is dead, and they have taken his body to the grave, but the Sabbath was beginning, and the women could not prepare his body. So they go home to follow the Jewish customs of the day. We're not told where they were, but more than likely they were together, etc., etc. And so, obviously, the women were going to Jesus' tomb in order to anoint the body and prepare the body to show that due respect to that dead person. Maybe wrap the body in a cloth or clothes or whatever their customs were, and put some anointing oil, whatever, just to remove the smell of the body, whatever funeral customs and traditions they had to perform. Now, my question is, how did these people and how did these women know that the tombstone is going to be removed? Because if it was one woman according to one account, or if we assume that it was two women according to another gospel account, or let's assume there were three women according to a third gospel account, how did these one, two, or three women know that the tombstone is going to be removed, or how were they sure that they're going to be able to remove that tombstone? Now, just for your information, the Bible does not give account of how heavy and big was this tombstone, but after doing some research, I found out that such a tombstone would weigh anywhere between 2 and 5 tons. Again, such a tombstone would weigh anywhere between 2 and 5 tons. I'm going to read from a scholarly article that it says that it has been difficult finding sources which indicate the average weight of tombstones. I've seen figures ranging from 1/3 of a ton to 2 tons. The most detailed information I found was, and that's a scholar speaking, and I'm quoting him, was as follows. Archaeological records list rolling stone size as radius 0.7 to 0.8 meters and width 0.3 to 0.4 meters, and that produces a volume of about 0.5 cubic meters, and then that's the formula how he calculates the weight. So workable stone such as granite would weigh about 2,500 kilometers, and that would be the equivalent of 5,500 pounds per cubic meter, giving a weight of at least 2,750 pounds. But that's assuming that the stone was round in shape and form, because there is abundant evidence that the stones at that time may not have, or may not all of them have been round. As a matter of fact, most of them have been square in shape. And I'm going to read from another article. The Rolling Stone tombs, being very rare, were obviously reserved for royal families, the very wealthy, and therefore not the type utilized by average Jewish families. Amos Kloner calculates that approximately 98% of the stones used to close the entrances to tombs in Jesus' day were square block stones. These were simple slabs shaped something like a bolt with one end designed to provide a close fit for the small opening forming the doorway to the tomb, etc., etc. Evidence for a square stone. Therefore, since these are the more common form of sealing tombs and the disc-shaped blocking stones are rare, it would have been exceptional for Jesus' tomb to be so sealed. This led archaeologist Amos Kloner, according to Megan Sauter, to argue that the gospel references to rolling away a stone from the entrance to a tomb was a misunderstanding to the normal method of sealing a tomb, since square stones do not roll. And so, in addition to the issues of whether the tombstone was square or round, and the amounting evidence that more likely than not, the stone was round, and assuming both of them, these women were not capable of removing the stone. Moreover, what normal person would go to a grave now, to a graveyard, to a cemetery, and remove the tombstone, remove the soil, the earth, in order to anoint or prepare a body, a dead body. This person would be locked up immediately. This person would be taken immediately. Probably they're going to call the emergency. They're going to take them to a psychiatry mental institution. But even if they don't do that, they're going to go to jail. So it's insane to do that. But assuming that these women had the intention of removing the stone, it's impossible for these three women, assuming that there were three, because it might have been just one woman or two, they are not able to remove the stone. And they had already prepared the spices and oils and cloths and whatever else needed to prepare the body. So there's something very stinky and very suspicious here. These women could not have known, nor I assume they didn't even suppose, and according to the Bible, they're not supposed to assume or to know that Jesus would have risen from the dead, would have resurrected. So they're just going there to anoint the body, but they cannot reach the body because of such a heavy tombstone. Again, I repeat, such a tombstone would probably have weighed about, on average, about 2.5 to 3 tons. And it would be impossible for 3 people to remove that tombstone. And moreover, as the scholars suggest, this tombstone was not a rolling one and was square in shape. And so my question is, there's something that doesn't add up here. These are weak women. They have, even if it were men going there, it would be impossible for 1 or 2 persons, or even three men, to remove the stone. So how did they know that they're going to be able to remove the stone? And so anoint the body and prepare the body. This is just some food for thought that I'm giving you today. And if you have any answers, questions, or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, listening, and thinking. Until the next time, bye.